readers. Welcome back to The Adulterous Whore. I'm your host, Stacey, and this is season 2, episode 21 of my Read Like Rory challenge. But before we go into what book I have chosen to read and talk about today, I'm going to give you a little update on what's been going on in my life. So, as you may or may not be aware, my eldest daughter, Kate, she's in college doing film studies. For her semester, her first semester, she was living at home. Well, now she is in the dorms. So she moved out. And I thought she was going to leave her room, pretty much how it was, just taking her personal stuff. Well, her room was like there. She left her bed because she obviously didn't need her bed. And she convinced me to use her space, the space that she no longer needs, to create a workspace for my business. Because right now I have things in the basement, I have things in the living room. Everything's kind of spread out and a little bit sporadic. So I'm going to put some pictures of my working on, I'm going to call it my whip, of setting up my space to get back into printing bookish mugs, doing t-shirts again. I've got a whole box of tumblers that I never got around to setting everything up because I had nowhere to put my sublimation printers and all my presses. So I'm massively excited to get going. And I'm wondering, because I do a lot of hook beaded bookmarks, I do a lot of hook bookmarks, so a lot of beading work, that maybe I'll set a space up down there for that as well. And one of the things I am actually going to be doing today is I forgot all about these t-shirts that I had because I had placed a massive order for t-shirts just before I shut that part of my business down because I didn't have the workspace, right? It's too much. So I closed everything down, but I found I had a bunch of black t-shirts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put images on the front of these. And because I'm doing the Throne of Glass series with Hannah on the Toppling TBR, I thought I might put Arabin on here and wear it on Saturday. So I'm really excited for that. So, and another thing that I've been up to is I've been spending more time trying to get in touch with independent authors and reading some of their work. And 2 books came in at the same time, and I finally got time to read both of them. And I wondered which book I should pick based on the first part of the book. So I'm going to read it to you. And I would like you to put in the comments which book you would pick based on the first few sentences of each. So this one is, there were moments, more of them lately, when Merritt questioned how she ended up here. Not just in this club, but in this unfamiliar, fractured version of her life. It had been 18 months since Everett passed, and still the grief clung to her like a fog. Okay? So that's book 1. And then this one, they're 2 very different books, by the way. So I'm like, 2 very different books. This one is, hey, is there a tree growing through the middle of the living room? Cassie whispered, her words hanging in the darkness, unheard by anyone. Cassie had been jolted awake by what sounded like a burst of thunder. The hair on her arms stood on end, and in her gut she knew something was wrong. She looked out the bedroom window, but there was not a cloud in the sky. So let me know in the comments, based on the first few sentences of which book you preferred, which book I should read. Book 1 or book 2. So, now, if you watched my episode on Tuesday, you know that I had quite the vast array of books to get through for my September hopefuls. Now, I did this really crazy thing where I had been waiting on library holds, and a bunch of them came through all at the same time. The first one was Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle. I love this author, okay? I read Bury Your Gaze, and I was absolutely enthralled by the way he writes stories. But this one is literally about a global catastrophe, and that was literally all I needed to know before I requested the book. And it became a 7-day skip the line loan, and I'm like, okay. And then I got The Butcher by Jennifer Hillier, and that one is literally about a serial killer, and he was killing all these people, and then he dies, and it's years later. But this is when she's convinced that her mother was killed by the serial killer, but it was after the serial killer had been killed. So I was really intrigued by that one. It's actually an older book. I think it was released in like 2015. I don't know how I missed it in the first place, but it's on my list to be read now. And then I got William by Mason Coyle. This one is absolutely terrifying sounding. So somebody on Bookstagram was like, ooh, this book was great. It was a short one, but it was really good. And this guy basically creates this like crazy AI called William and turns his house into like this uber smart home. And yeah, what could go wrong, right? So it's a horror, and I'm really excited to get to it. And then I got The Dead Husband's Cookbook by Danielle Ballantyne. So it's about this chef, Maria, and she kind of steps into her husband's role of being like this celebrity chef, and he is missing. And it's all about like, did she murder him? Like, what happened to him, right? And then the last one I got was Brain Damage by Frida McFadden. And if you have Frida hate, you can stick it because I love her. And this one is basically about a doctor and she gets shot in the head, but she survived. And it's all about her struggles, like things are not the same. And I'm really excited that Frida is republishing with her publishing house books that she self-published originally, because I actually had never read this one. And this one was released some time ago as well. And I literally just finished reading Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. And it's part of the Divine Rivals. Like it used to be a duology, I guess now it's become a series. It's like a prequel. And oh my God, it was absolutely phenomenal. So that's me. But what book did I choose today for my Read Like Rory challenge? And I actually picked Angela's Ashes by Frank McCourt. Now, you may be wondering what this book is about. You've probably heard of it before. It's a well-known book. So it's a memoir on Frank McCourt. It's basically that he was born during the Depression era in Brooklyn to recent immigrants of Ireland. So he's living in the slums of Limerick. His mother, Angela, literally has no money like to feed him and his siblings. And his dad literally can't hold down a job. And when he does work, he literally pisses his wages away on alcohol. Now, this story is kind of Frank's account of his survival of getting through his childhood, like wearing rags for diapers, as we call it back home, begging a pig's head for Christmas dinner, and gathering coal from the roadside so that they can have heat. Now, it's all about poverty, near starvation, and casual cruelty of people around him. But the book is told in a really almost light-hearted way. Now, why do I think Rory would have liked this book? Now, Frank McCourt does this really amazing thing where he mixes tragedy with humor, and it comes across in a really tragic, comical voice, making what the subject matter is about, the very difficult, heart-wrenching subject matter about, more lighthearted. And I think that would have really appealed to Rory, that this person overcame such adversity as a child. It would have been something that would have really piqued her interest. The story's also told from a child's perspective. So I think it would have added to Rory's excitement to read a book that was told through the eyes of a child. Just my opinion. Now, there's a lot of stuff in there about survival, about how to get through poverty, bleak circumstances, dark times in your life. And you have to understand that Rory went through a really dark time when she quit Yale and was living in her grandparents' pool house. So I can understand why she might have felt some kindredness of the feeling of hopelessness, even though Frank McCourt doesn't really portray that in his books, because he had a fire in his belly because he wanted something more. And I think that would have really stood out to Rory as well. I think she also would have really liked the family story as well, because it talks about the bonds that he had with his siblings and his mother and the complexities of a community around him. It would have given her a really profound look at his life, one that she's obviously not living. Oh, and the writing. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely beautiful. Like he has a real gift of having this lyrical way of writing that you can't help just absorbing more and more and more of his work. So I think that Brody really would have enjoyed the writing style. The book's got like this whole thing about Ireland in there too, right? About how it would have been back in the 1930s. So that might have been really exciting for Rory because she thirsts for real world information as well as fictional. And the story is really authentic. And I think these things would have been something that Rory would have been really interested in as a person. Now, what did I think about it? Now, you have to understand that I have already read Angela's Ashes before, twice in my life. When it first came out, I think I was about 15. And I think when I read it, I would have been 17 or 18 years old. I can't remember exactly how old I was. I just know that I was finishing up high school, like grade 13 for us in the UK. And I hadn't started university yet. So yeah, I would have been around about 17 or 18 back then. It was re-released with a new cover in 2005, I think, because my daughter was born that year. And I read the book again because I actually bought it brand new. Now, this book is absolutely heartbreaking. And I'm not joking, okay? I ached reading this book and I knew what was going to happen. I've read it before. So none of this stuff would have come as a surprise, but I really couldn't imagine the hardships that a young child would have had to have faced at such a young age. It was dark, but it was really funny in places too. Like it was, I don't know, it kind of didn't know how to feel about it because you wanted to be heartbroken and devastated for this child, but he made it seem like it really wasn't all that bad, you know? And I kind of liked that. It helped me to keep reading, I guess. There's a good chance that had he not entered, if he had not given us the more humorous side of his storytelling, that I may well have DNF'd it because it would have been too much for me to get through. So I think he did a really good job of keeping me involved in his story and entertaining me because the writing really was really powerful and really it was really good. I enjoyed the writing a lot. Did I cry? Like a baby. I booed my eyes out. I literally was like racking sobs and I just couldn't help it because even though he kept it lighthearted, I could still, as a mother, I could still feel the hurt. You know what I mean? I couldn't let that go quite. But it did give me a perspective of my own life. And this is one of the things that I really took from the book was that if you have resilience and not giving up, you can forge a new path forward and leave the bad stuff behind you. And I think sometimes as humans, we forget that that's possible and we wallow in our self pity and like, oh, well, this happened to me and I'm just going to live there now. And Frank McCourt really showed me at a time when I probably needed it that we can get past it. We can live again. God, see, I'm tearing up. Oh my God. See what I mean? Like even thinking about the book, I'm like blubbering like a bloody baby. I am really grateful that I read it at this point again. Yeah, I really got more out of it this time. But I love that the story came through the eyes of a child and you kind of got that childlike innocence along with it. It was absolutely phenomenal. I think that's what it really sets it apart from other memoirs written in this fashion. And I gave it 4 cups of Luke's coffee. Now, what book is next? Now, I already finished it because I read it a couple of weeks back, but it's A Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank because I got a library copy of it and I forgot all about it. So I literally had to rush my way through it. But I'm actually really glad that I didn't let it go back to the library and grab it later because there's quite a long wait for it now. So, woo, thank goodness for that. But I also have for my conspiracy theory with Stacey, I have the book Chaos by Tom O'Neill. And that is what's going to be the episode on the coming Friday because I'm trying to alternate between the two. And I'm really excited to share that book with you because, oh my God, it was so good. I really hope that you have enjoyed this episode of Read Like Rory. Now, I'm hoping that I can find some more people to do read alongs with me because the person I had found went behind my back and started a chat with other people she found on Bookstagram, which really peed me off. And I am in the group, but honestly, I'm not happy with what she did. So I am trying to find new people because I can't deal with drama. I think it was really rude. So rather than dwelling on that, I'm just going to start again. And if there is a book that you can find on the list that you would like to buddy read with me, let me know by email, ladulterous@gmail.com. I can also send you a PDF version of the list if you would like, so you can see what books are on there. You can always follow me on Facebook. That's at ladulterous. You can also follow me on TikTok at ladulterous. You can follow me on my Bookstagram at ladulterous whore. I have a YouTube channel that's at ladulterous and Spotify as well. If you type in ladulterous, you can find that as well because it has the weirdest addresses. Like XPQV something show. I don't know. I don't know why they don't allow me to change the name, but no one seems to be able to do that. So I think that's just a Spotify thing. I hope that you have the reading week you deserve. And I will see you actually tomorrow because it's the toppling TBR if you're following along with our Throne of Glass deep dives. And I'm definitely going to be making a t-shirt to wear on tomorrow's show. Have a great day, guys. Take care.